So be it after biceps or after chest, somehow or another, right? And this is not groundbreaking information. We've got a good grasp on this. You need to directly fucking stimulate your arms, And I don't think arms get the work that they deserve because people like having big arms, but I still kind of feel like arms get a little neglected, maybe just a little, way more than chest or back, because I feel like the generalized lifter on average is probably going to have the easiest time pressing the hardest. And I don't mean pressing the most weight. I mean, like, when you think of something you're strong at, I feel like usually people have an easier time going hard on chest. But the fact that your biceps are a little bit of a smaller muscle group, same with triceps, even though they're still crazy fucking strong, I kind of feel like they get kind of grouped into the sort of categorized as like accessory work. I guess if you're a power lifter, then yeah, you don't necessarily need to try to get the biggest arms possible. But 3 sets of preacher curls and then 3 sets of hammer curls, it's not going to do the trick, man, So I don't really, apart from stuff like adductors, adductors, no, I still get hit calves pretty hard. But for the most part, every muscle in your fucking frame is going to respond to the same stimulus. Heavy fucking working sets. So even though it's an arm day, I mean, frankly, it doesn't even matter what day it is. Now I just have to do movements which are going to target these particular muscles. And I'm going to make sure I fucking work them hard. So don't. I would say don't feed in too much to the like, I'll leave 5 reps in reserve. Like, oh, it's just as effective as going to failure. I would not want to feed into that mentality with arms out of anything, just because they already get a rap of being kind of like accessory work. Like, I can't even remember the last time. It's got to be like 3 months. The last time I seriously saw somebody do like a set of dumbbell curls to real failure, like to where they could not even finish their last rep of the set and had to fucking put them down. Now with like preachers and stuff, I see it, but just straight up dumbbell, fucking hardly. So that's kind of what I'm trying to say there. Don't go easy, right? Don't go easy. Be it fucking biceps, triceps, rear delts, even your rotator cuff warm-ups. I mean, of course, don't rip your rotator cuffs off, but go fucking hard. So that's the plan. Triceps first, biceps second. I don't want to spoil the lifts, but I'm sure if you've seen any of these arm days before, you probably already know what it's going to be composed of. But let's just get started. Hard to beat some basic ass squeezing single arm push down. So my right arm's tricep is a little bit behind the game compared to the left one. So start with the weak side. Okay. Oh, yeah. Notice fucking I could finish the 12th rep on the left side, but I couldn't on the right. Perfect example of a minor muscular imbalance. Not the end of the world, but it's something to take into account if you got one. Okay. Okay. One more of these. And then, oh, something else. Oh my god. Oh fuck. Perfect. Yeah, let's do some double and push downs, then move on to something overhead. Probably dumbbell, but we'll find out. I can only add one extra plate to the stack, unfortunately, but what are you gonna do? So let's get real for a fucking double arm set.
I'm not wrestling.
Okay. Let's make it a drop set. That only feels okay. Okay. All right, on second thought, screw this. Let's move straight to some overhead dumbbell. Overhead with the 60s. This will be perfect. A solid combination. Well, I don't even know what I'm saying there. Just a good weight for every movement. Somewhere, whether you're doing a dumbbell curl, flat bench, a squat, a leg extension, somewhere there is a weight where you can only get 10 reps, 12 reps, whatever. So in my mind, I kind of want to pick the weight based on how I feel that I'll be able to, how many reps I feel like I'll be able to get at this current moment. Because if I've done the 60s for 10 fresh, I've already done 3 hard working sets. Or 4 hard working sets. I probably wouldn't be able to do the 60s again now. So what I'm trying to say there is just pick a weight which 10 will actually be a real challenge. Or 15 or 20 or whatever your goal reps end up being. But don't go easy. I would not want to grab the 40s, do a shitty easy set. I'd get nothing out of it. Let's get real. skillet has been sounding especially good this lift. Me breaking Benjamin the works. Oh my god. Fuck, these only feel okay too. Yeah, let's move on. I mean, if I pick a movement I don't love it, I'm not going to sit here for 3 more sets of it. I'm going to pick something else I know will feel better. Which I think in this case is going to end up being dumbbell kickbacks, goddammit. Nothing crazy, only grabbing the 20, but this is very squeeze focused. You know, this is the difficulty of this set is not coming from the fucking weight. It's coming from the fucking burn that I'm inducing by sitting here and holding it for a second at the top. And as long as I do that well enough, I'm not going to get a million reps, right? I doubt I'll get more than 20 just by guessing. Again, right side first. Okay. Okay. Oh, fuck. Oh, my goodness. Oh. All right. I think let's go back, finish with some cable. Maybe probably just 1-2 sets max. And then triceps will be done. They're already pretty fucking cooked, but need a little more. Let's just do classic straight set, straight bar, straight squeeze them. You get the gist. May pick a better song though. Five-finger death punch. Very nice. No. I lied, not a straight set. Okay. Oh, all right, I lied. That's more than enough. Triceps done. Move on to curls. So I have warmed up. Of course, I would never do any heavy curls without, grab the 20s, grab the 30s, grab the 45s, grab the 60s for a couple. So 60-pound dumbbell, bent over seated concentration curls with straps. I mean, these are just fucking killer, at least for me as of late. So I'm not just going to do a classic set. I'm going to make these self-assisted at the end. So I'll take it to failure. And I might even do a little bit of swinging. Not much, though. This is kind of the benefit of being more controlled. I feel it way more. But I'm going to take myself to pretty much reasonable failure and then assist with 5 more reps. Now, I'm not assisting the whole time. I'm helping to pull the dumbbell up, then I'm letting go. So the only thing resisting it from swinging down to the ground is the rest of the strength that's left in my fucking bicep. So for me, at least, these have been the most brutal sets of curls that I can do. So of course, if for whatever reason they're in the zone for me, I want to spam them, right? If for whatever reason I was loving the feeling of straight bar barbell curls right now, that's what I would do, Because no matter what curl I could pick, it's going to hit my bicep regardless. So I'm going to pick the ones that feel the best and let me go the craziest on them. All right, biceps a little behind the game, so I'm going to start with the right. Come on. Fuck. Oh, fuck. Perfect. Oh my God. Okay. Get comfortable. I'm gonna sit here for a while because these feel fucking sick. I feel like I'm wrecking my bicep in its entirety. Why move on? Fuck. I gotta drop the weight for the next set. I gotta grab the 50s instead. Fuck. Fuck. Okay. One more just like that. And really I get to do whatever I want. Hey, if I want to do fucking like curls on the incline bench like this, or a straight bar or fucking cable or whatever. That's kind of the cool part about once you've done like 4 or 5 hard, solid, good working sets is, I mean, once you're already basically pumped and in a fatigued state, even if I just wanted to sit here and like try to somehow give myself resistance to my biceps with my other arm, I bet I could probably get a good fucking set's worth. Maybe not a really good set, but you get what I'm saying. So wherever I go from here, it's a guarantee. There's no chance I'm gonna fucking keep adding on to this fucking pump. But let's get one more done. Not get ahead of myself. Okay. Woo. Oh. All right. What are you thinking? Biceps are cooked. Open to anything. What curl would you do next? I gotta ponder for a moment. Quick little repeat of last arm day. I love these fucking bicep bias pull downs. The straps really help too. But nothing else to say. Yeah. Yeah. Oh my God. Ooh. Okay. Let's just do one more. Then back to some kind of conventional curl. Okay. All right. Yeah. Back to dumbbell curls. Standing kind of classic this time. Let's get nasty with the 55s. Goodness. Okay. Oh my God. One more. Drop set. Weight to be determined. I need to. Honestly, after that set, I mean the 55s. It almost felt like I could barely get that first rep up. So I guess we'll find out what the finisher ends up being. All right, I've got a plan. 45s like normal, failure-ish, rack them, and then grab the 25s. And instead of a classic in front of the body curl like this, you're gonna hang them in front of me and kind of curl across my body. It's still a curl. There's nothing crazy fancy about it. I don't feel very much form, and it's a good squeeze. It's just something I like doing. Okay. Not gonna use straps for the 25s. Okay. Oh my God. Oh. All right. Let's go pull this down. Arms are done. There we go. Okay, so that was like, I don't know, like 7 or so sets for buys and tries. I can't remember exactly how many, just, in 3 seconds. I'm kind of in a rush. I want to see how how we're freaking, yeah, freaking. He thought it was going to drop another F-bomb, huh? Now let's see how we're freaking looking. So morning weight was 253. So I must have just had a fucking heavy day. I did have a meal like pretty fucking late the night before yesterday. So yesterday I woke up 256. So it just kind of, it bounces around. Don't get too concerned with your daily weight fluctuations. It doesn't really mean jack. Now your week to week weight fluctuations, like on average where you're floating around, there's a big difference between this, this, and this. So in either case, as long as that overall average trend line is in the direction that you're actually aiming for, then you're good. So right now, shooting from a fucking 249, or no, 239, 240 up to 253. Of course, that just being mainly carbs and fucking water. That's pretty cool for me. But don't worry, 260 is just going to be another fucking benchmark. Then going to be 270. Then going to be 280. I'm getting excited just thinking about it. But until then, let's just enjoy this fucking arm pump. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I feel like a total fucking meatball. That's great. I'm not even going to try to do a fucking side tricep. I can't reach behind my back, especially not with a fucking tricep pump. But that's not nothing. That is not nothing. And then hopefully as these weeks progress, these extra forearm days are going to pay off and add some extra beef down here in this underside and get some real kind of added crazy fucking thickness. Oh, oh my God. All right. Fully fucking pumped in the arms. Very fucking. Oh my. Okay, one more most muscular. And then we can actually get out of here. I love it. I love it, man. There's something pretty wild walking around at 250 something pumped. It's hard to describe. But let's get in the car. All done. There we go. There really is nothing like it. There really is nothing like a nasty ass freaking arm pump. But in terms of today's lift, honestly, I was kind of fucking peak pumped after those, what was that, 4 sets of the assisted reps on the bent over concentration curls, to the point where like I really love those, but I think I have to make them a finisher, because taking each set to the like with those assisted reps to failure, well, to failure and beyond, I mean, it's it just fucking like thrashes my biceps in a good way, of course. But I was kind of already peak pumped 4 sets deep, so I think I might have to save those for a little bit later in the lift. Maybe make those the finisher for next arm day. But that's kind of what I like to see. This sort of like this state of reflection right now, where I say, okay, this lift went like this. All right, I have a critique. I'm going to change it next time. Honestly, I think that's probably one of the most important, not mindsets, but kind of like, holy crap, this guy's jaywalking. Not one of the most important kind of like thought processes to be able to have to actually make like legitimate improvements, not to just training, but to diet, to your fucking recovery, to anything. You know, being able to look at what you've just done, how it felt, you know, how you enjoyed it, the end result that you got from it, and then being able to say, okay, and you know, so you gotta apply some logic, use a little bit of brain power, and think, okay, this was okay, but I think that I want to do it like this next time, and then try something else a little bit differently, see what happens. You know, the last thing that I would want anyone to do is to somehow get locked into like one routine for working out. Now, this could be anything, but I'm going to start it at working out. Coming in doing like the exact same chest workout they've been doing for years, the same, you know, skipped leg day programmed for Monday that they've been skipping for years. You know, just the same everything. To do the same thing on fucking repeat and to expect a different result. We've all kind of heard the phrase, we've all heard that fucking definition. You know, it's not good, right? So even if the changes that you make aren't even based in like the most scientifically studied, proven, effective methods, to make any changes to your training which make logical sense to you, and then you actually see that it results in some kind of difference in an end result, that's fucking sick, right? That's learning. You know, that's you may as well be acting like fucking an NVIDIA OpenAI hive mind. That's all fucking AI learning does, right? It just fucking plugs in random data, finds patterns, everything else. You know, that's you. You got a crazy fucking powerful computer in here, which is pretty capable of some serious pattern recognition. Unfortunately, it's also capable of fucking locking yourself into a really fucking repetitive routine because it's not very hard to think to yourself, okay, this worked for the last year. I'm going to keep doing it because it worked. But now it's not working, right? So as your lifting journey progresses, you're not just going to be that beginner lifter forever. You have to actually make like real legitimate effort and changes to how you train, how hard you train, how much food you're eating, the types of foods, meal timing, making sure you're fucking fully hydrated, everything else. Because gains get harder to get as time progresses. You know, you're no longer going to be gaining 2 pounds a week a year deep into working out that you were in the beginning because you're not a beginner anymore, right? Now you're an intermediate lifter. And the intermediate, oh, blah, blah, blah. I'm really stumble on my words here. The intermediate lifter doesn't make beginner lifter gains. Training like a beginner, you know, you got to train like an intermediate. So the longer that you've been working out for, the more effort that you're going to have to put into your training, which shouldn't come as a fucking surprise. You know, the longer you work out, of course, the better you're going to get at it. So that's where just keep an open mind. You know, just keep your mind open to new ideas. Because, like I said, the last thing I want you to do is do the same routines, look the same, be the same strength for just fucking. What is going on here? For just years on end. Because the plateaued lifter, dude, that is probably the worst state to be in. Because you're not making any gains, you're not getting bigger and stronger, you're not getting leaner. Just staying the exact same as time progresses, that's not actually staying the exact same. That's fucking moving backwards, right? As time flows, you should be changing with it, you know? So making gains, it should be the goal, but it should also just kind of be your baseline state of being. Even if those gains start to fucking slow down. You know, who gives a shit, man? Gains are still gains regardless of the rate. So that's where I get to be really excited about my training right now because I'm making tangible, numerically visible gains, right? Adding pounds to my body. So that's uh, that's kind of that's kind of where all my energy's going to now. I'm in the thick of it. Still not to the point of really needing a crazy routine schedule for my eating because I mean 4,000 calories, that's not hard for me to get down. Especially the bigger that I get, you know, the more food I have to eat just to stay the same weight in general, you know. So my appetite is much higher than it was when I was, you know, a 200 pounder or even a 230 pounder. So that's probably going to be another maybe another month. I don't know. Maybe 2 months. I'm not exactly sure when this bulking phase is actually going to start to get difficult to maintain, because any kind of change from dieting, be it cutting down or switching to bulking up, the first, honestly, you could probably just say the first half of it is the easiest. If you get a lifter who's going back and forth between bulking up and cutting down, that first month of bulking is so easy, because I've been used to eating in a deficit for the last like nearly 3 months. So for me to now basically have free range to eat all the rice and carbs and even some sweets that I want to, it's not very hard to get down. But as time progresses, right, my appetite is going to kind of reach a point of, well, let's just say maximizedness, where to add an extra 500 calories per day to my calorie intake, it's just not going to be feasible. So that's where over the next few months, I really want to make sure that these meals are evenly sized, well timed, and I don't get behind. Because if I have one day, like, I mean, let's fast forward a month, really deep in the bulk at that point. If I have one day where I miss my calorie intake, and let's say I only ate 3,000 calories, whereas the last like week I've been eating like 5,500 on the regular, I'm immediately gonna lose like fucking 4 pounds. It's the same thing with dieting, right? If you're trying to diet down, and then all of a sudden you have a massive cheat day, guess what? You're probably gonna wake up heavier the next day. Bulking is no different. It's just the inverse effect. So if you're trying to bulk up, dude, consistency really is fucking key. Because if you have like 2 days, maybe like Monday, Friday, whenever, where you eat a ton of food, like you actually did eat in a calorie surplus, that's sick. But if you can't keep that up day by day by day, then you're not really bulking at all. You know? So that's where the guys who say, dude, I've been eating a lot. you don't you don't even know how much food I've been eating, man. I've been eating a ton of food. Like I just can't gain any weight. Those guys aren't eating enough. That's really as simple as it gets. Making no changes to their training, making no changes to their sleep. If there's a lifter who thinks he's bulking and is not gaining weight, if I immediately like made sure, or if he immediately made sure that he actually hit his calorie surplus goals every day, and he tracked every gram of fats and carbs and proteins, and actually tracked it on his phone and everything, well, like magic, suddenly his plateau would be broken through. You know, now that's really the biggest barrier to weight gain, and unfortunately for some guys have a bigger appetite than others. So if you're somebody who can really put food down like there's no tomorrow, bulking is going to be your forte. Bulking is going to be real easy for you. Now, you're going to have trouble dieting down, but the opposite is still true. So, yeah, if you're a guy who being on the leaner side isn't too hard for you, odds are your appetite is probably just at a baseline level, not as high. So for somebody like that, that's the character who has a hard time bulking, because they're just not eating enough food. And even if they're eating a lot and it feels like a lot to them, like they're totally valid in thinking like that, wow, this is a lot of food. It kind of sucks to say, but you actually just have to eat more. Now, there's tricks to it, of course. And what I feel is probably the easiest method is do not just try to like force feed as much food as you can at every possible moment that you like sit down and have a meal, because that's just not going to be conducive with longevity. You might have a massive breakfast, like you might really go crazy, have like a 1,500 calorie, like a, if you're really crazy, have like a 2,000 calorie breakfast. But odds are you're not really going to have a fucking massive appetite for lunch. You're probably still dealing with that fucking breakfast by the time noon comes around. So that's where I think having evenly sized, evenly spread out meals throughout the day is going to make it a lot fucking easier. You know, what do you think would be harder, right? Trying to pick up 500 pounds once, or 50 pounds 10 times. That's kind of how I feel you can sort of, at least that's sort of how I think of the dieting part. So it's going to be much easier to maintain small 8 o'clock meal, 11 o'clock meal, 3 o'clock meal, like evenly spread out throughout the day, And if your macro goal is, if your calorie goal is 4,000 calories, you eat 5 times a day, then, all you have to do is have an 800 calorie meal every meal. So if you want to look at it like that and really get into meal prep and do your rice and chicken and broccoli trays, that's totally fine. But don't forget, any meal prep or any dieting plan that like a coach could put somebody on, it's just counting your macros. You know, in a weight gaining, bodybuilding, muscle growing kind of context, the macros that you're eating, hitting those macro goals of, be it like 300 grams of carbs or upwards, I don't know how big you are, maybe 1,000 grams of carbs per day, depending on how deep into a bulk you are. It's as simple as, if you don't hit that number that day, you're not going to grow. So I can't stress enough, focusing on your diet is seriously going to change how you develop. And I can't mean that anymore. The only change, which is making me feel very confident that this is going to be my best fucking bulk ever, is, for one thing, historically, I've been able to bulk heavier and heavier and heavier for the past like 4. So, monkey brain pattern recognition style, I think I'm going to be able to do it. But I also get to put a lot more fucking effort and time into the meals. I get to have a fucking, this morning was 150 grams of carbs worth of cream of wheat, some frozen blueberries, some brown sugar on top, 50 grams of protein worth of eggs with 4 egg whites and salsa plus some cheese. You know, having fucking solid sized, legitimate, real food meals throughout the day. Dude, I might be getting delusional, but I'm starting to think 300 pounds isn't that much weight. Now, of course it is, but by isn't that much weight, I mean within reach. But that's to be seen. That's not going to happen tomorrow. So that's where I'm comfortable enough with working towards something which I'm not going to see for potentially years on end, because not to totally cut off the dieting talk, but to be able to work at something which you're not really going to be able to enjoy for a while and to find enjoyment from the work that you do then, that's a pretty solid fucking way to spend your time. Like, I won't get into it too much deeper than that. Partially because I'm just fucking tired from that arm day, and I gotta eat something. I feel like I'm running low on. Low on energy. I'm tired. But plan for tonight: home, food, sleep, cardio in the morning. Cardio in the freaking morning. Gosh dang it! I know I'm gonna do it. You see it. I try to. Sometimes I forget, but I always try to post it on the Instagram story, just to show you, just to remind you guys. But keep. If you're bulking up right now, if that's what you're aiming for, look, man, take that dieting talk to heart. You gotta hit your fucking macro goals. So, whether you have to eat a fucking 1,000 calorie meal right before you go to bed, it's a fucking hit it or quit it. So if that's what you got to do, I've been there. If I don't, I'm gonna drop fucking 3 pounds the next morning. But it's a much more responsible way to go about it, by just having good meals throughout the day. If you ever catch yourself playing catch up with your calories, then you kind of set yourself up for failure beforehand. You've procrastinated your calorie intake, and that's why you're staying up late with a bowl of fucking 2 packs of ramen and some ground beef and some with like cheese and barbecue sauce. It's no fun to cram a massive meal before you go to bed. So you're much better off getting a head start on your calorie intake early throughout the day. Because if it's noon and I've already had 3,000 calories or 2,000 calories, that's a big chunk out of my whole fucking day. So I don't have to sit there and like force feed my last couple meals. I get to just fucking eat at a pretty comfortable pace. But it's kind of whatever you do, you have to somehow integrate it into your routine so it doesn't feel like too much of a chore. Because who likes doing fucking chores? But that's all I got. Cardio in the morning. Maybe I'll bring you along with me just to give you some more insight into the day. But I'll see you tomorrow, definitely, for legs. Oh, I'm getting excited already.